I am the greatest of the greatest, the best of the best, and my name is none other than Josh Samuel. And on the line with me, ladies and gentlemen, I have Fran ready to collaborate with me on this video. Fran, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing really great. With all the past news, I'm doing great.
Good. Now, let me talk to you a little bit, Fran, before we hop into the very lengthy discussion. As most of us are aware, it was recently Zack Snyder's birthday, and as predicted by myself and a few others, Twitter went crazy, started getting all in their feelings like Drake and Kiki and everything, and saying stupid shit like, ooh, this movie, ooh, it makes me feel uncomfortable, ooh, help me, and we're really trying to celebrate a man who has been an inspiration to all of us, a man who has given us some, very thoughtful and deep movies, and we were just trying to, be in good spirits about that. And he announced that there would be a screening of 3 of his movies, which the 3 are Dawn of the Dead, Watchmen, and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And he'll also be appearing in person to participate in some Q&As in Pasadena later on this month. And man, what's your take on all this? What do you think about all of this, man?
I think that it's like a pure celebration of his work and the kind of man that he is. Like, all the money that he's gathering is all going to charity. So that says something about the man. And the fact that he's going to watch these amazing films with fans that love it, I think that it's going to be, everything is going to be like a positive vibe.
Right.
Like, he's gonna be there, he's gonna be happy because he's gonna project films that he loves, and all the fans that are going there are fans because if not, they won't be paying the price they're paying to go see them. So I think that overall is a celebration, like something to be happy about. And we can also theorize on what he may ask or people may ask about a certain cut of a movie, but strictly what he's going to do there, I think that it's simply happiness and positivity.
Okay, I definitely agree. And man, if it was between May, probably even April, if it was between April and June or later on this year, I definitely will be the first one buying tickets. But unfortunately, I'm tied up that weekend. I hope everybody that goes has a unforgettable time, a great time, and just have a great time. Jumping right into it, Fran, let me start out by asking you this. Now, I'm sure you've seen the different cuts of Watchmen. Obviously, you've seen the different cuts of BVS, and everything. Which director's or ultimate cut that Zack has done is your favorite?
I mean, I think that his best work is the director's cut or the director cut of Watchmen. I think that that's his best movie, but the one that I enjoy the most is BVS Ultimate Edition. Like, I think that everyone, if the people that are hearing this have listened to other of our podcasts, I think that they already know that it's like our top 3 all-time best films.
Right.
And I mean, objectively, I think that Watchmen is his best film, but BVS is another level of superhero genre. And because of the time that it came out, like Watchmen came out in 2009, and at that time, superhero movies weren't that generic, and at the time that BVS came out, almost every superhero movie felt the same, and the way that broke with everything and presented a more mature and more serious superhero movie, I think that that's why it impacted us more than maybe Watchmen did.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, Fran. What still impresses you most about the movie 300 to this day? Not the sequel with the sexy evil grin, but the movie, the movie, the movie.
I mean, the sequel was like, alright, that's kind of a downgrade, but
yeah.
TVs. But I think the most memorable. I think that. Well, I love that movie, man. Like I've watched it so many times, and the music from the movie. Every time that I have like an important exam or something like that, I'm in the subway listening to the score of 300. So it's really gotten into me, and I think that the part that really gets to me, not only the ending part, of course when Leonidas dies, but like the beginning when he comes back from defeating the wolf. And the score kicks in with that like deep voices, and the helmet is put on the snow, and everyone is bowing to him. I think that scene is fucking amazing. Like,
Gerard Butler was really great in that movie, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of strange to see a Spartan with a Scottish accent. But he played the part really good. I mean, and holy shit, like all the men were fucking jacked up.
Yeah.
Like they felt like superheroes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he did a really good job. I mean, the times that he needed to be like a captain in a general, he did it really well. And when he needed to get emotional, like in the end, he did it really, really well.
Okay. Now, Fran, you talked a bit about it earlier. I want to go a little bit deeper. No pun intended. What to you separates Watchmen from other comic book films / adaptations?
I think that because it is really, really, really faithful to the source material.
Yes.
Like, if you read the comic, I got lucky, and when I went to my trip to New York this summer, I bought the Watchmen comic there, and I've read it, and the whole tone of the comic is like this serious, mature, the construction of the superhero and everything, and I think that the movie Watchmen is so different to the rest of them because not only it is faithful to the source material, because when the movie needed to make changes, every change was for the best. Like for example, the ending. Like I see a lot of people on Twitter and everywhere that hate Zack Snyder and his movies and everything. But one of the most talked about and positive things are that he changed the ending of the movie and he made it better. And the whole, like, if you read the comic, you know that it is dark, it is gritty, it is depressing.
Right.
And the movie is what gives you. Like it's not change, it's not anything. The atmosphere, the aesthetic, everything, the characters is dark and gritty and depressed because that's what the comic is about. So that's why I think that it is so unique among the superhero genre because it's one of the most faithful adaptations ever.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, Fran. I can't remember if I asked you this before because I've asked so many other people, but I don't believe I have. And it's something that I've thought about from time to time, especially after watching Watchmen, incidentally enough, last month. Do you see any similarities between Dr. Manhattan and Superman?
Yeah, I mean, between Dr. Manhattan and Superman in BBS, yeah. Like the whole. I mean, no, maybe not the philosophy of the character, like of what exactly the character is thinking, but the way that they feel, like the two of them feel like they don't belong here, that no one understands him. And there's like a little different that I think it's very considerable. That is that Superman in the end finds his place among the humans and in the earth, because when he says like this is my world and everything, like he has embraced that human part that he has. But Dr. Manhattan in the end is like because he's so powerful and everything, he doesn't feel attached to the Earth. So I don't see a whole character development in him, because he's like this omnipotent figure of force. It feels like he doesn't develop his mentality. Like he gets angrier and everything, but the thing is that I don't see any character development. I see similarities between them, but I don't see any character development in the case of Dr. Manhattan.
Okay. Now let me ask.
I'm the only one thinking this, but
No, I mean, I just see. I think they are similar, and you know, it goes back to the whole ideal of it being a deconstruction. But you know, like you touched on, the difference is, you know, Superman gave his life, whereas Dr. Manhattan was kind of just like, I'm gonna just be blunt with it. Dr. Manhattan was just like, fuck it, you know. But let me ask you this, Fran. You touched on it a little bit earlier. What makes you why is Watchmen the movie truly ahead of its time as a movie?
I think because people weren't expecting such a mature film that made you think, and something that deconstructed the idea of the superhero that people usually have in their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because we, like nerds and geeks and everything, we know that, like, we've read the comics and we know everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you present something as mature and as difficult to the general audience, I understand why it is ahead of its time, because people weren't prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you this, people aren't prepared for it now. Like, if Watchmen released right now, people would be saying the same stupid shit. But the thing is, it's an amazing movie, and when time passes and people start to realize and watch it again, I think that people will start appreciating it more. Like what's happening with BBS, like some people, some bloggers, after 3 years are starting to say, hey, maybe BBS wasn't that bad and everything. But I think that overall, people weren't ready for that kind of movie at that point of time. And I mean, it's fine, because at least we got it, and by the time that these people understand the kind of amazing movie that it is, we will have enjoyed it for maybe 10 or 20 years. I mean, the director from Doctor Strange, he said that Watchmen was a masterpiece.
Yes,
so
Scott Derrickson.
you can see that the sides may be changing.
Okay.
But do you think it was like ahead of its time, or why do you think it?
Oh, definitely. I definitely think it's ahead of its time. I think all of the themes, all of the even some of the things the characters said, which incidentally enough, I was going to ask you about Rorschach. Some of the things Rorschach says, some of the things Dr. Manhattan says, a lot of the dialogue to me is what stands out and is really relevant even today. And it's another movie that I have no trouble absolutely defending and everything. But yeah, it's to me, yes, it is ahead of its time, and I'm just glad that it got made. Cause let me ask you this, Fran, do you think that a movie like Watchmen, with the way comic book movies are going now, aside from the ones in the early pre-DCU stage, and no, I'm not dissing nobody, so don't get sensitive, do you think that a movie like Watchmen would get green-lit immediately, even though we have a series coming on HBO?
I mean, not in the big screen, and not with a studio like Warner Brothers. Obviously. But because they are like the ones that not really own DC, but are like affiliated to the movies. And the way that the whole culture and social movements are right now, I don't think they will have the balls to have out their characters like Rorschach.
Damn.
Like I don't see them being confident on having a Rorschach on the screen in 2019, because of the things that he says and because of the things that he does.
Mm.
I mean, because he's like, I think that you wanted to talk about Rorschach a little bit, so I mean, it might be going forward too quickly, but
Go
we need
ahead.
to talk about this.
Go ahead.
The thing is that Rorschach is like kind of a fascist,
Mm.
but it is strange because his methods and his way of thinking is kind of a fascist, but the strange thing is that in some of the things that he says he is kind of right.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe the methods that he uses and some of his ideology and everything is not right,
Mm-hmm.
but when he says some things like don't ever compromise, not even in the face of Armageddon,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can say whatever about the character, but that phrase is completely true, and all people should be having them on their minds all their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I mean, of course, you can say that he's like mentally ill because he has a serious problem
Right.
in the head.
Yeah, trauma.
But yeah, he has a really big trauma, and the
Mhm.
thing is that people wouldn't understand that he's a character and that he's fictional and maybe he's wrong on the way he says or does things, but in the end he's like kind of right.
Mhm.
So I think that in all this climate of social movements and political correctness and everything, I think that Warner Brothers wouldn't have the balls to greenlit a movie like Watchmen.
Damn. Let me ask.
Damn, brother.
Let me ask you this, friend. And this kind of ties into a lot of what you just said. It's amazing that synchronicity. Let me ask you this, man. What do you think the outcome would have been if the Ultimate Edition of BVS had been the version that released in theaters?
1 billion.
Mm,
Like straight up.
really?
No doubt. 1 billion, yeah.
Mm,
Because I think that overall the general public kind of liked the movie, but if you give them to those people that were like, this is a plot hole and this is wrong and this is not explained, and I understand those critics, but if you release the Ultimate Edition, people are like, yeah, because it's, I mean, studios know this because you have less screenings and you get less money, but you also like get less money if critics destroy your movie.
right.
So don't be stupid, release the whole movie. People wouldn't complain about it. It may have like a 7 or an 8 in Rotten Tomatoes. People will be going and to see it because it's fucking Batman and Superman, and you kind of got all the general audience and all the critics and bloggers. If you release the Ultimate Edition, maybe you only had like 10% of them in your pocket, you would have had like 90% of them. So I think that it was like really stupid for them. It's something that I don't really understand. They fucked up that time,
Mm-hmm.
and they fucked up the next time. So
Mhm.
it's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, who's running this company? Like, you can make a mistake, and that's alright. We are all humans. But if you make a mistake, it costs you money.
Mhm.
It costs you critical acclaim, and you go and in the next movie you do the same, but worse. So it's like, who's running this company? Fucking monkeys, or what's going on? Like, it's like that episode of The Simpsons when all the monkeys are like writing for the paper. That's how I imagine Warner Bros.
Man.
I mean, they are fucking stupid. They don't learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, really 3 times if you count Suicide Squad. It's just fortunate that Suicide Squad and BVS made a good portion of the money back. Let me ask you this, friend, and this goes back to the Watchmen discussions. So, would you say that as a whole, Watchmen as a movie deserves another look?
What do you mean another look?
Do you mean like Do you think that it deserve, like, people need to look at the movie, like people that may have necessarily said you know, oh, it's bad, oh, I don't like it, oh, this is shitty, oh, this sucks. Do you think they need to give the movie another look?
Yeah, I mean the Ultimate Edition or the director's cut. Yeah, of course. Like with VBS, like go on it open-minded. Just watch the movie. Don't think about anything. If you like the director, if you like this and that, just watch the movie as a whole and come up with your own opinions. And if you think the same thing that you thought on 2009, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. And if you watch the movie and you're like, okay, maybe this wasn't that bad, then I would applaud you. Because I don't know, man. I think that people are afraid of being wrong.
Yes.
Like, because if you trash a movie and, oh, this is shit and this and that, and then you go and watch it 2 years later and you enjoy it, you're like, I may be wrong, and I don't want to be wrong. So people are like, no, this movie is shit, and I've watched it 3 times, and I got bored and this and that. But because they go with a negative mentality. But if they were and watch the film with a positive mentality, I'm sure like 95% of people that said they didn't like it, they will enjoy it right now.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, Fran, and this might, just a forewarning, this might take you a minute to answer. What is a film that you like to see Zack Snyder direct?
I mean, I was gonna say like the obvious one, like Batman, like a Batman film by Zack Snyder, but I think that in another genre, maybe a Western. I think that because of the way that he has of shooting action scenes and everything, I think he will be doing a pretty good job in it. Because Zack Snyder, I mean, he's really good at telling stories, but he also needs action in his movies because he's really good in them. I think that a Western with properly developed characters and great action pieces will be an amazing Zack Snyder movie. I mean, I'm pretty happy that he's doing Army of the Dead, but he has already done a zombie flick. So I think that if he wants someday to change his whole repertory of movies, I think that Western should be like his first option. What do you think he should direct?
Well, you know me, shit, I'm ready for all of them. I am ready for all of them. I'm gonna be screaming for all of them. But me, god damn, it's raining hard. Sorry, Lord. I'm sorry, Lord. Dang, it's raining hard. For me, I know this is probably gonna be unpopular and people gonna be like, oh, what do you mean? But I'm gonna be bold and say, you said Batman. I'm gonna be bold and say I'd love to see him do a Flash film. I don't know. I just really would like to see him take on Flash and do Flashpoint and everything. People will be like, yeah, but shut the fuck up. You know, I'd definitely like to see him do that. And I'd be interested to see him do a heist film. You said a Western. I think I'd like to see him do a heist film. That'd be pretty. That'd be pretty.
I think that Army of the Dead is a heist film in the end. Like I wrote the plot. Like I read the plot of the movie, and it was like a heist in Las Vegas in the middle of an zombie apocalypse or something like that. So I think that you might be happy when you see it if you want him to do a heist movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be up all night before that, and I'm just be ready at midnight, ready to turn on Netflix and dive right into it. Now, Fran, brother, we're about to close out, and man, I appreciate you rocking out with me on this. And these past couple of videos, man, you've been you've been going in, bro. Like the mic is yours, bro. Now let me ask you this, bro, and I definitely saved the best for last. What would you say to a person that says, quote unquote, all Zack Snyder knows is visuals? The mic is yours.
Well, it's easy to say that he is not the cinematographer. Like, he's not shooting what you think he's shooting. Like, there's some people called, maybe, I don't know if these people, because everyone is so intelligent when you talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you heard of a certain guy called Larry Fong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the one that shoots things, you know? Zack Snyder is not shooting things. It's not that difficult to understand.
Right.
Zack, the one that tackles the project, and he's like, we're going in this direction because he's the fucking director. We're gonna talk about these characters in this way, and we're gonna do this, and they were gonna do that. But what I want to tell people that say that is like, he is not a cinematographer. He is not shooting what you see in the screen. He's the one directing the people to do what he wants them to do, but he's not fucking shooting them, you know? I of course think that he has really good understanding of cinematography and shooting films and everything, but he's not the one behind the camera.
Right.
And he's not the one that color grades the film and the aspect ratio and everything. He chooses them, but he doesn't personally do it. So if you think that Zack Snyder should be a cinematographer instead of a director, you are not very much watching his movies. Because what he's doing in his movies is telling his story, or the way he wants to tell the story of these characters. It's as easy as that. If you think that, it's just stupid, man. Like, he's the one giving you the story. He's not the one shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is a cinematographer, he doesn't go on the set and he's like, yeah, you do this and you do that and you behave like this and you behave like that. He's there and the director tells him, you do this, I don't know, this shot, and you come up with the camera to a frontal shot or whatever. He's not there to say anything about the way the characters are doing. So Snyder is telling his story. He's not standing in a corner and someone comes to him and tells him, yeah, shoot this like the way you know. Because he directs the people. He doesn't personally shoot everything.
Right.
He's telling his story, and his story involves really good action scenes and really good cinematography, but because he has help from professionals who do that too. So it's fucking stupid to say that. I don't really understand it. Like, in a football team, if someone is really good at scoring goals, you can tell to go and stop the goals. Like, he's really good scoring them, and he's a professional and he's really good at scoring goals, but you can't tell him to go and stop the goals because he doesn't know how to do it.
Right.
I don't know, man. I can't with these people.
Yeah, and not to add to that, brother, people say, oh, he doesn't know how to write a story. Bruh, Chris Terrio, David S. Goyer, they're the screenwriters. Now, don't get me wrong, Zack was involved with the story on Wonder Woman, and of course I'm sure he has some input here and there, but at the end of the day, Chris Terrio, shout out to him, you know, and shout out to David S. Goyer, you know, they wrote the story for Man of Steel and the script for Man of Steel and BVS. Mostly Chris Terrio for BVS. You know what I'm saying? And his genius in that script, man, it's just brilliant, man. It's something that we don't people don't appreciate and people just overlook. But man, that's another video. Now, let me ask you this, friend, and you just went the fuck in, so I gotta ask you this last question and then we'll close. Do you feel that individuals are blind to Zack's genius, or do you feel that they just choose not to they just choose to not try and understand the message that he's trying to send?
I think that they are the average movie consumer, and they think that they are this, like, oh, I'm a blogger and I'm a critic and I know everything about cinema because I've watched Titanic and the Avengers and I know everything about cinema. And they go to the movie theater and they're like, I don't want to think, I just want to have a good time.
Right.
And I think that they underestimate Zack Snyder and everyone is like bashing on him all the time because he brings something different to the table.
Every time.
He gets to you in the cinema, you sit down and you see something that you are not used to see.
Mm-hmm.
And some people appreciate it and are thankful for it, and some people, it seems like they are scared to think.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I don't understand. Like, if you go out of a Zack Snyder movie and you don't understand it, I'm totally. It's normal that you may not understand a movie, but when someone comes to you and in a respectful way tries to explain it to you, and because you don't want to understand it, because you don't want to see difficult or intelligent cinema, you just call them stupid nerds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You are like, we can see your true colors. Like, you are just the average movie consumer that thinks that is morally greater than everyone else because he has a site that he writes on, and because you don't want to fucking think. Like, that's the thing. They hate his movies because they don't want to think and they don't accept what's different. As simple as that. Like, they are given 20 MCU films that some of them are great, don't misunderstand me, but they are all of them kind of generic in a way. And when someone comes in and in the middle of it gives you the construction of some characters that you love, you are either A, too stupid to understand it, or B, you are too childish to accept that someone that is not you is creating these characters in a way that you don't like. And you can act on it in two ways. The first way is be an adult and say, maybe I don't like this film, but I respect it and I think that it's something brave to do, to get these famous characters and portray them in a different way. And the other way, 95% of bloggers and critics do, that is behave like a child and rant on a movie like if they were fucking crying on their mama's lap. Like, it's as simple as that. I mean, you can be a intelligent and mature person and say, I don't like this movie, but I accept that some people like it and I think that it's different. Maybe it's not for me, but I appreciate that it is brave and different in the way that that the characters behave and perform, and you can behave like the most people do, that is like, oh, Martha. Like, they are behaving like 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah. Well, Fran, man, did you have anything you wanted to say in regards to, anything else to add in regards to Zack Snyder or the Snyder Cut movement, or the fans or anything, man?
I saw that Clay Enos had like some declarations or something like that in comicbook.com, something like that. I saw that he talked about the Justice League and everything, and he was like ranting a lot. Like, he was really angry. He was like, because they butchered the movie and everything costed more because of it, and they butchered a movie that was made by a friend, so he was like really angry about it. And he said that the hashtag release the Snyder Cut shouldn't be like a permanent hurtful thing. Like, it shouldn't be something that reminds us of how awful that movie was and everything that happened, but that it should stand for integrity and for director-driven films. And I think that those are really, really on-point declarations.
Yeah, shout out to the brother Clay Enos, man. Shout out to Larry Fong as well, man. I'm glad you brought him up. He's another guy that goes under the radar and does not get enough credit, man, and everything. But, well, friend, this is the end, and I said but and will, and that's the wrong way to say that. But yeah, this is the end of this video, man, and I appreciate you rocking out with me. And ladies and gentlemen, I will leave a link to Fran's channel in the description. Like I said in past videos, stop being stingy with the likes. Stop being afraid to comment, and stop being afraid to subscribe. That subscribe button does not have cooties. It does not have chicken pox, measles, or influenza, which will probably kill you instantly. It is your friend. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, kiss it, hug it, embrace it. hit that subscribe button and stop being scared. And thank you all so much once again for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.